Hey, what's up? It's Jonathan, part of LFA Worship. I'm going to teach a class of the Nashville Numeric system. Kind of like a run through, try to break it down for you so that way you're able to understand it. It's important for worship leaders, worship team members to understand this system. For the simple fact that I know a lot of us have had that experience with a singer that we need to change keys. For whatever reason, we need to change the key of the song. Now, instead of writing down a whole chord chart with different notes, it'd be a lot simpler, less of a headache if we're able to just have one chord chart with numbers. We start building a relationship with numbers to the notes needed to be played. Now let me give you an example. Let me start you off. We have this key chart of the major, and I want to focus on only the major keys, only because that's the scale we primarily use for the worship team. Here's the C major scale, G, so on and so forth. Now the major scale consists of either flats or sharps, but never both in the same key. Later I can explain the difference of why we have sharps and flats. Four and 5 being the only major chord, 6 and 7. And of course we end in C again, but we're not going to write that down as an 8. Now, let's start implementing this, what we have so far. So here we have the song Sea of Victory by Elevation. And the original key, it is B flat. But just for this example, we're going to change it to C, since we already wrote it down over here. Now, my mistake as a beginner, and I'm sure a lot of you guys also had this mistake, is that we assume just because the startup chord is an A minor, we assume that the key of this whole song is going to be an A minor. And that is completely wrong. First, we would have to see what key it is, and if it doesn't tell you, so clearly like this one does, you'd have to just scan the song and see, okay, well, this is A minor, F, and C. These two are majors, so that's, and you start breaking it down. Okay, really quick, since we know we're in the key of C, and this is the key of C, and we have our numbers written down the bottom, let's start with A minor. What number would that be in the key of C? That would be a 6, since it falls under the A minor. So the song starts in the number 6, and we move to F, which would be then 4. And then back to 1, this is where we see that 1. So the whole song, for the most part, is 6, 4, 1, 6, 4, 1, 6, 4, 1, 6, 4, 1. Now let me explain what I tried to earlier about having different chord charts and different key signatures. Now let's say that this is too low for a singer and they want to switch it to the key of G. So we would write out the key of G, and see how these numbers would stay the same for both the C key signature and the G, but the chords changed. Now we can go over here, switch this off to G. Notice how it changed, but the number stays the same. Check it out. It's E minor right here, excuse me. It's still the 6. So then the C would be the 4 and the G would be 1. And it'd be the exact same thing. 6, 4, 1, 6, 4, 1, 6, 4, 1, 6, 4, 1. And that is the beauty of the Nashville numeric system. Now, when you start practicing this more, obviously you'd have to know your major scales, all of them. That way you're easier to transpose. If I were to say key of D, we start in 4. I automatically know but that's because I already have that practice. I encourage you to practice them. I can send you a link of different kinds of worksheets that will help you. You can start doing homework by getting just normal chord charts and figuring out the key and writing down the numbers next to them. That way, when I give you a chord chart with just numbers and the key, you're able to build that relationship. And if you want to go more advanced, I'd suggest practicing your ear training. Now, I have my guitar here in the key of B. So notice how that's a 1, that's B. It sounds like home already. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So it always wants to resolve. And that's another thing you could train your ear to do. Is if you're in the key of B and you're in 4, which is E, and then you go to 5, which is F sharp, you know that back and forth, you start building that relationship. So when you hear a song, you might not know the key of the song, but you at least know the progression, and it's 4 and 5, 4, 5, and you always know it's 1 because it resolves. It wants to just go home, the chord. So if you were to go, you already know that's 4 and 5. It's climbing up, so you know that's 5. Moves up, so you know that's a 6. And then it goes back down, so you know it's a 5. And then of course, 1, 4, back to 1, 4. So you start building that relationship and you start hearing the music, start feeling the music, start seeing the colors as opposed to looking at the chord chart mathematically with numbers.